everyone, my name is Rebecca. Let's talk about makeup. So today I wanted to do a quick get ready with me. Okay, it's not gonna be quick. Let's just be real. It's not gonna be quick. But I wanted to do a get ready with me using all of the products in my deck of panning, plus some products from some other projects as well, just to turn it into a full face. So that's what we're gonna do today. I have done my skincare. I have primed. I'm a little glowy right now. I used the e.l.f. Halo Glow filter because I love it. It's looking nice. And I am going to wear, I'm going to do my eyes first. I'm going to put on these. This is something that I pulled in my Turn and Burn. It's a little, I woke up like this gold foil eye mask, and look at these. These, is this not the most adorable little, how cute is that? I mean, I know that's not the point of these, is to look cute, but hey, it never hurts to look cute while you are doing your skincare, right? Slash makeup slash whatever. Okay, so hopefully that'll help with the bags. I'm feeling today. Last night's night of sleep, as per usual, was a little iffy. I think that's just my life now. You know, I never had trouble sleeping until I had my 5th kid. I'm the sort of person I could sleep for 11 hours a night if you let me. I had that 5th kid and it's just like, sleep? What's sleep? I don't know. So it's either his fault or it's just age. I don't know. Anyway, so the palette we're going to be using two. These are the two palettes I pulled in my deck of panning. This was for the prompt Peach Fuzz. I got this from the Peach Fuzz prompt, and this was for the Cities prompt. And we are going to, I think I'm going to do primarily a look from here, and then we'll just pull a few like supporting shades from here. I feel like that's how I enjoy that palette best. This palette is a little bit of a struggle for me. And I've realized that's because when I look at this palette, I can't see past these blue shades. It's just like they blind me. And I can't see the rest of the possibilities in the palette. So today what I want to do is I want to use this row here to create a look. And so that's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to prime my lids. I'm going to use, this is the Huda Beauty Cinnamon Toast liquid eyeshadow, and this is what I pulled for my warm toned prompt in deck of panning, but I'm going to mix it with a lighter shade called Bubble Bath just to lighten it up a little bit because it is pretty deep and pretty warm, which isn't exactly right for the look I'm going for today. So I'm going to do that. Probably going to speed through like the blending, some of the boring parts. Yeah, let's see how this turns out. These do dry down quite quickly, so mixing them is always a little iffy, and it's absolutely a one eye at a time sort of thing. This is a Laura Mercier brush. All of the writing has rubbed off the barrel, but it's got this interesting shape, and it's really lovely for blending cream or liquid shadow all over the lid. It's a very nice one and done brush, or obviously for blending out a primer. Now the thing that I really love about these Huda Beauty liquid eyeshadows is that they set down bulletproof. And I have found anything I put on, oh my goodness, man down. Whew. Good, I thought I got that all over my jeans. Anything I put on top of them really stays put. I do find I have more issues with creasing during the winter time, which is interesting because my skin is definitely oilier during the summer. But I think the reason is my skincare. Because my skin gets drier in the winter time, I tend to use more emollient products in my skincare, and all of my skincare goes all over my eyelids. I know that some people's eyelids are too sensitive to do that, but I put everything goes everywhere. Lips, eyes, the whole thing. I'm gonna give that a minute to set down, and I am going to fill in my brows a little bit, I am going to use, I'm trying to use up this product here. This is the NYX Fill and Fluff. It's in my 24 and 24. It's not my favorite product, but I only have a little bit left. It is a black pencil, which I prefer. I have genuinely black eyebrows, and I don't tend to put pencil or anything throughout the whole brow. I just don't feel that I need to do that. I just have a few little places I need to fill in. Like the top corner here, I like to fill that in. And I've noticed that if I use any brown shade, generally speaking, it will look a little off. So I tend to go for black or for a soft black or a dark gray to fill in my eyebrows. But this is just a little too creamy for that. I end up getting a little more pigment than I want to. So I'm gonna probably end up with somewhat of a bold brow today using this product. But the eye look is gonna be pretty dramatic, so I think we'll get away with it. And if all else fails, I'll style my bangs because they come over my eyebrows a little bit. And they'll disguise any issues. I just like to fill in that top corner a little and kind of darken the tail. And on a day-to-day basis, that's pretty much all I do. There's this odd little toothbrush on the back. I prefer a spoolie, but in a pinch, this will diffuse out product through the brow. I think this type of toothbrush type thing would be better for creating like a fade in the front of the brow if we were still doing that these days. I do actually still do that sometimes. As a matter of fact, why don't we try it out? Let's just try it out. Let's pretend this is 2017 and let's see how it goes, just for fun. So yeah, I think it does a pretty good job for that purpose. I just would prefer a spoolie that could like comb through and tidy up the rest of my brow hairs. So not bad for an ombre brow if that's what you're doing. See how it gave me a pretty bold brow, I'm not gonna lie. But I think once we've got the eye makeup on, it'll all balance out. I'm gonna grab I have an Ulta eye pencil with a spoolie here. I'm just gonna use that to just brush through the brow hairs. And then later, I may add a few little hairs here in the front just to bring them a little closer together. But yeah, that's a pretty bold brow we're rocking today. Usually a little more full on than I go, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Okay, eyeshadow. I'm gonna start with, this is Notre Dame, and I'm gonna put that through the crease and start building up. Well, it's a little, it's not really gonna be a transition shade because it's a little bit lighter than the liquid shadow I already have down. But what it is going to do is it's just going to blend over that base color and just smooth out any inconsistencies that I have there, because I mixed 2 shades on my lid. Not always, doesn't always end up super even. Then I'm going to go into Grand Ballet with a little fluffy brush. This beautiful kind of maroon burgundy color. I'm just going to do the outside corner and part way into the crease. Because of the natural topography, basically, of my bone structure, if I just follow the shape of my brow bone, I'll end up with a very kind of downturned teardrop shape on the outside corner. So I'd like to come up onto the brow bone just a little bit. I have to be careful, otherwise I run into the tail of that brow. But if I just pull the shape up a little bit, I feel like it's just a little more lifting. than if I follow the natural curve of my eye socket. I'm going to go back with the brush that I used for Notre Dame, and I'm going to just blend out that edge. I really like that combination of the peachy and the maroon. It gives this really, really pretty peach to purple gradient is what develops there. That's just so pretty. I love that. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm actually going to go into the Sweet Peach palette, and I'm going to go into this shade here, which is Delectable, and I'm going to use that just to deepen up the outside corners just a bit more. We might go into Talk Derby to me, because I feel like the black base on that shade is lovely for deepening things up. This might be enough. While we're here, I'm going to go into White Peach and maybe blend it with a little bit of Peaches and Cream and put that on the brow bone. I'm going to use that to create a little bit of separation between the purple and the brow, since I kind of blended it right up there. Next, I'm going to go into this beautiful purple. This is Arc de Triomphe. These are starting to get dry. And I'm going to use my finger to just put that on the center of the lid. Ooh, that is pretty. I'm into that. Okay, I feel like I really want something very warm on the inner, like, a third of the eye. I have found that when I am doing more of a cool eyeshadow look, I like to balance it out with a warm shade somewhere in the look, and vice versa. If I'm doing a very warm look, then I like something very cool to kind of give it that color contrast and visual interest. Let me find something. Okay, I have an idea. This might not work out perfectly, but I want to use, this is my Pat McGrath Sith Seduction Quint. Little Darth Vader on the cover there. And I want to use this very warm copper shade and see how that goes. This might not work, but we're going to try it anyway. Okay, that is very warm and reflective, but it's not particularly light, and I want something a little lighter right on the inner corner. I'm going to go back into the Passion in Paris, and I'm going to use the Eiffel Tower shade here just to brighten up that very inside corner. I'm going to use a tiny little brush. I want more of the orange. Now I'm going to go back into Arc de Triomphe, the other side of that brush. I actually really like that. There's something a little unexpected about that orange in the inside corner. I like it. Okay, I think we're done with the shadow. I'd like to do a little bit of liner, I think. But first we're going to do the base. We'll do the shadow underneath the eye. I'm going to take these off. Super cute. Don't love the single-use nature of that product, but it was cute, and my under eyes do feel very hydrated. Okay, so for base, I have, this is my Physicians Formula Healthy Skin Foundation, or the Healthy Foundation. I know there's another foundation that's Healthy Skin, isn't it? I can't remember, but this is the Healthy Foundation. This was for the prompt, something you wish you returned. If you didn't see my intro to Deck of Panning, the story on this was I purchased this and it was a little bit light for me, but I loved how it looked on the skin. And I loved how it looked on the skin so much, I hoped that the fact that it has a very strong, quite unpleasant fragrance, I hoped that that wouldn't be a big deal, but it ended up kind of being a big deal. Anyway, should never have bought the second bottle. Should have definitely returned this one because that fragrance is just, for me, is such a huge knock. It is a little bit easier to deal with when I'm mixing it with another foundation. And because I've got so much glowy going on the skin right now, I'm going to go for something that's a little matte. This is the Matte Velvet, Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin. This was, I scraped out the product out of each of these samples and decanted it into this little pot here. Now, I probably shouldn't have decanted all of them because this one darkened it a little too much, and I had to, well, quite a bit too much, and I had to add a fair amount of white mixer into it. So I ended up with quite a lot of product here. So I'm going to mix it with my Healthy Foundation, the lighter shade of the Healthy Foundation. I'm just going to mix it on the back of my hand. Got it mixed. That's a good match there. Okay, that's the base. That combo gave me a solid medium coverage, I would call it. But it still has some radiance. I like it. I like that combo. And I do feel like when I mix it like that, the scent isn't quite as strong. The next thing we're going to use is another Turn and Burn item. This is the Rare Beauty Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer. I decanted all of the shades of this into here. Actually, no, I only decanted the top 3. Where are the other ones? I have them around here somewhere. But yeah, I learned my lesson with the Makeup Forever. I'm going to have to find another use for the darker shades of the concealer. I'll either use them as a foundation mix-in for a lighter foundation, or I'll use it as a cream bronzer. We'll see how it goes. This is my Zoeva Rose Golden 142 Concealer Buffer. It is one of the only concealer brushes I've ever really liked. My favorite thing about this brush is it will take a tiny bit of product and it would just spread forever. So I can get a really thin layer of concealer in the areas that I want it. And I don't feel like I'm getting a pileup of product. I have a very strong nose bridge. Very well defined. We never contour up there when I am contouring my nose. I like to brighten it up just a little bit. Also, I feel like sometimes when I'm doing a darker eyeshadow, I will get a little bit of kind of like flicked pigment, kind of splash back right here on my nose. Okay, I am happy with that. I do feel with this Rare Beauty concealer, I do feel the need to set it. I don't feel that way with all of my concealers. Like I have the Huda Beauty Flow Filter. I also have the House Labs Triclone Concealer. Both of those I feel like are self-setting enough that I don't need to set them. But this one, it just stays a little tackier than I'm comfortable with. So I'm going to go ahead and set that. I'm going to use the Nars Translucent Crystal Light Reflecting Setting Powder under my eyes. This is a nice one. I bought this at the same time that I bought the Charlotte Tilbury, just to like compare the two. I can't tell the difference. They're both equally good. They're pretty lightweight on the skin. I don't feel like they dry my under eyes out. I prefer not to have to set my under eyes, but sometimes it's just not avoidable. And I do feel like when I'm blending out a darker colors on my lower lash line, it's a little safer to set the concealer, especially if it's on the tacky side like this one. Okay, back into the Passion in Paris palette. I'm going to go back in with the Grand Palais. I'm going to use a tiny little fluffy blender. Okay, the only color I haven't used on this side here is this one here. I could have used this as the brown bone highlight if I hadn't pulled that from the Sweet Peach palette. But while I've got it here, I think I'm going to use it just to blend out this under eye shade. Just buff it out a little. I used to not like shadow under my eye, but it's useful for covering up those fine lines I'm getting under there. So I'm on board now. I think I'm going to go in with a very small brush here. I could go into Versailles, this black, beautiful black. Got to be really careful with that black because it will take over the look if you're not careful. But I'm going to go actually into this one here. This is Talk Derby to Me in the Sweet Peach palette. And I'm just going to press that right up against the lower lash line there. I'm going to do the same up here. And it basically is going to function as a black. It has some purple sparkle in that, but the way we're using it's not going to translate onto the eye. I really like that. I'm into that pop of orange on the inside. Tell me what you think. Do you like it? Do you feel like it seems out of place? Let me know what you think. Okay, that's the eyes done. Let's do some cheeks. I'm going to use a couple of different products on my cheeks. This was for the 3 Is It Crowd prompt. I pulled my Natasha Denona My Dream Cheek Trio, and I'm going to apply the cream blush, weirdest cream formula I've ever seen. And I'm going to put it up here kind of on higher on the cheek. Because of just like the bone structure of my face, I found that it is kind of easy for me to end up with kind of a reverse raccoon look around my eyes. Don't love that. So I try to kind of connect the blush with the outside corner of my eye right there. And that really helps prevent this area from turning into that reverse raccoon eye. And then on the apples of the cheeks, I would like to go in with my Stila. I pulled this for, what was the prompt? The prompt was multi-purpose. And this is a lip and cheek stick. I don't love it on my lips. It's a little concealery on my lips. But I do like it is just a little pop right here on the front of the cheek. A little blush draping there. So something a little deeper back here. And just a little brighter pop right there. I think it's really pretty. Okay, that's very blushy at the moment, which honestly, personally, I don't really mind. But I am going to put a little powder in this area here which will tone this down just a smidge. And then I'm going to go in with a cream bronzer. This is not a Deck of Panning product, but I pulled this for my ColourPAN project. This is my Soul Body cream bronzer in the shade Medium Dark. This is something I use more often in the summertime. It is a little warm and a little deep for the winter, but I think with a light hand we can get away with it. I'm just going to use the same sponge I used for my foundation. And I have been liking putting my bronzer on after my blush lately. I just feel like I can sometimes end up with just a more seamless cheek when I do it in that order. I'm gonna bring it down onto my jaw just a little bit. I know, bronzer is not contour. I don't know if I'm gonna style my bangs today, so I'm gonna put some up here too. We'll decide later whether or not this was necessary.
Okay.
And you know, I'm just gonna go all in. Got across my nose, just a smidge. I'm gonna go in with a tiny bit of nose contour. For the contour, I'm going in with the Sephora Colorful Contour. This is in the color 35, Second Chance, number 35. And I'm going to use this little brush here, which was actually a Temu find. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit right there. I have to be careful. I mean, we all have to be careful with nose contour. But I found with my shape of schnoz, this is the best placement for it. I actually have to thank Robert Welsh for teaching me how to contour my shape, nose shape, because the traditional placement that most people demonstrate online simply does not. It just doesn't work for my nose. Then I'm going to go over with the same brush I used for my blush. Pretty, I like it. Going to do a little bit of powder. This is my one size powder. This is not in a project. I don't actually have a powder in a project right now. I found like this is a very soft blurring powder, very flattering on the skin. And I like to pick it up on a little puff and then sort of work that into the puff. I feel like I have a fair amount of reflected light off of this part of my cheek, and I do tend to get oily there as well, so. I just try to avoid the mouth area because I feel like that's where my makeup can really start to look a little bit heavy if I'm not careful. Couple finishing touches, and then we will pick a lippy. All of my Deck of Panning products. Let's see. I am going to add a few little hair strokes here. Just gonna lean into the brow, the bold brow we've created here. I'm using my NYX Lift and Snatch for this. It just brought the brow in just a little bit. Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough for me? Yes. I do have a little, tiny little bald spot right there. There. Okay. A little bit of eyeliner. Hey, darling. What's up, babe?
Mama, when she's done what she needs to do, can I play?
You can have a turn in about 20 minutes, okay?
Yay! Thank you, Mama.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Is that even? Not really. Do I care? No. Good enough for me. The last thing is I have a couple of lashes that I need to add to these inside corners. Those are the lashes. Generally speaking, these ones will be good to go for a good 4 or 5 days. Sometimes I do have to put these inner ones on re-glue them on during that time period because that's, if I get watery eyes, that's what it tends to break down the glue there. Okay, got my inside corner lashes on. For lippy, I think I'm going to do my Buxom Influencer lipstick. This is in my LipService project for 10 uses. It's not as purple as I was hoping it would be based on the swatch on the box, but still pretty. I'm going to use the Sephora gel liner in Wild at Heart. I like that. It's comfortable. A little bit of a berry tone to tie in with the shadow. I'm happy with that. Now I got to figure out what to do with my hair. So hold please. I could not be bothered with my bangs. And that's the look. I like how this turned out. I especially like that little bit of orange that we popped on the lid there along with the purple. Let me know your thoughts. I hope this was fun. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye.